Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever it is for you. Welcome to the Investing Bros live show. We've got a lot to talk about today. Our main story and main topic we're going to be looking at is XRP because, of course, yesterday was the big news for the XRP Army, whatever they're calling themselves now. Is it still Army? I think it's still Army. But they got the win they needed, the second win against the SEC, this time coming in the way of Judge Torres saying that she is denying the SEC's appeal of her decision when it comes to Ripple and XRP being a security. Now, I have some thoughts on this because, as the title suggests, I am bullish on XRP long term, but there are some reasons why I'm not bullish on it right now. I'm going to explain that why during the technical analysis section. We have some other stories, though, definitely to talk about. I'm going to go ahead and introduce my co-host for everybody, but make sure you go ahead and smash that like button and hit subscribe if you have not already. I'm joined today back up from, I think he was down in more southern Florida. Mr. T. Shroom is back with us. T. Shroom, how are you feeling today?
Oh, Tim, I'm doing better than I deserve, feeling better than I deserve.
That's good.
Just all around, great. So, yeah, and I do have a quote of the day for us today. We're sticking to our Stoics here. We've moved out of the Plato, Aristotle, Socrates in no particular order, and we're moving into some of the later Stoics. This would be Epictetus, who said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." And Tim, from my experience, it's also challenging for women as well.
Yeah, I would think. Although, listen, I've heard that especially in marriage, the wife is always right. So if she disagrees, then I guess that's a false statement. But
see, when I've heard people talk about that, it's like, well, then why wouldn't you get married? Because then you have someone on your team who's always right. You know what I mean?
It's a win-win when you really break it down, T-Shirt. Yeah. You're really helping us explain that one well. Yeah, it's a good quote, though. I definitely agree with that quote. And I think we've talked about that kind of sentiment very much. So I always love listening to people who disagree with me because worst case scenario, I was right, and they actually helped me solidify my position. But best case scenario, I do see it as best case. When someone disagrees with me, I might actually have an opportunity to change my mind and update my way of thinking. So it's always a win for me to get to talk to people who disagree. And but if I go into everything thinking that I'm 100% correct and I refuse to change my mind, I'm probably not going to come out of that conversation learning anything. Always going to things open-minded. But T-Shroom, great quote of the day. Great quote of the day. We got some people in here. Again, today's our first 3 o'clock show. This is the new normal time. I know we've been shifting it up on you guys, but we promise you, hey, we're here. We're here for now. 3 o'clock. This is going to be the new normal for you guys. So thank you so much for your continued support. T-Shroom, let's go ahead and jump on into the stories. Let's start off with XRP, and then I'm going to do some technical analysis on it as well. Do you have an article kind of breaking down some of the details of XRP?
I do.
Sweet.
It's
Let's start there.
Yeah, it's the same one from this morning. There's also kind of the added bonus of XRP rallying amid Singapore license approval. So they had a 2-for-1 positive outcome over there at XRP. So they've got to be rejoicing. They've got to be happy over there at Ripple Labs, I should say. The XRP is a blockchain. It's a token. You're not really going to be doing much or seeing much rejoicing inside of the blockchain. But looking at some of the details here, you can see that on July 13th, U.S. District Judge Torres in Manhattan concluded that the sale of XRP digital token on public exchanges did not constitute an illegally unregistered securities offering, as buyers did not have a reasonable expectation of profit based on Ripple's actions, according to the judge's decision. Of course, the reasonable expectation of profit, being one of the main components of the Howey test that failed. So this was the ruling back in July, and now the SEC, of course, went ahead with an appeal and a motion to appeal, and that motion has been rejected. And there's not really been any developments throughout the rest of the day, but that is the big story for XRP, and it's why XRP, as you can see here, according to Decrypt, is up still 4.1%, up to 53 cents. So it's made a move higher, but it's definitely not melting any faces here. So, Tim, I want to throw it to you. What are your thoughts, and why is the price only up, not even 5%?
Yeah, and to be fair, right as we are shooting the show right now, we are getting a little bit of a pump in the crypto markets. They're still red on the day. We'll go ahead and just shift right in as I give my opinion. We'll go ahead and look on over to the charts. You guys know we use Chart Prime every single day. Go check out that link down below if you guys are looking for a great option to trade and see the charts more clearly, the indicators they have between oscillators. You also these great indicators that come up here really giving us great stories. And you guys are already seeing, I'm not even breaking it down yet, but for those who understand technical analysis, you're seeing why the title is the way it is right now. I saw someone comment earlier that said Tim's in here. I think it was Eric Wallen saying Tim's in here to rain on our XRP parade. I don't want to rain on the XRP parade because I do believe long term we're moving up and to the right. But guys, while we're pumping right now, you look at how overextended we are. Look at the bearish flashes coming in here, engulfing candlesticks on our RSI. Our chart prime oscillator is flashing not only the red reversal, but bearish divergence here on the 4-hour chart. In fact, many of the charts, you're going to see oscillators coming in here saying that we're overextended. I'm pulling up the Market Oracle Pro. We're overextended. We're in the oversold flash. We didn't get the red reversal that we have in the past. And we did use the dynamic reactor on the 4-hour chart for some support right there. So that's a positive. But here's where I'm not liking what we're seeing when we're moving out. And I'm going to give you guys an option. I'm going to show you guys a bullish pattern here as well. But I'm going to start here by looking at a more bearish pattern. Let's go out to the daily chart so we see this a little bit more clearly. You guys can see right here, since back on March 13th, of 2023, we started to rise in our level of support. And even after our massive boom, the first time that the SEC lost to XRP, and we had that huge announcement that, there we go, guys, not only is XRP not a security, but they're going to get relisted on exchanges. Massive green candle daily chart. In fact, that's one of the largest daily charts, daily candles you're going to see on any coin ever. Just massive news for the whole XRP army and community. But I said, hey, guys, I know we're excited, but beware of the comeback down off of the emotional day. And sure enough, that comeback came back very hard. In fact, we lost the level I thought we would have at 55 cents and dropped down below it. But we didn't just lose 55 cents. We lost this rising level of support after respecting it. Yes, the wick dropped below, but we quickly jumped back up over the next couple of days, and we respected that line of support. Well, now we've lost it, and you guys can see we've used 1, 2, 3, and now 4. 4 times we have rejected on this line, turning it into resistance. This is not a good sign. In fact, if we keep dropping down and we can't break back up through it, well, you're going to start putting your eye out there for. I talked about it this morning, our video this morning. Look at this lower level. Since back here in June of 2022, we had another level of rising support, which again, rising support, not predicting that XRP is going to set any new lows. That's not my prediction whatsoever, but I do think that we're going to have a pullback of sorts, again, especially if we cannot recapture this line. Now, let's make the argument for, can we potentially recapture this line? There's another formation. Maybe some of you guys can see it. Let me change the color of it just so it differentiates itself. We'll make it blue. We'll make it more optimistic. Blue's the color of honor and loyalty. So this is a loyal formation. T-Shroom, do you recognize this formation, this pattern that I'm displaying on the chart?
It would be a rising wedge, rising wedgie, ascending wedgie.
Not a rising wedge. So wedges, that would be a bearish formation. This one is actually a bullish formation with a flat top and a rising level of support. This is a rising triangle or ascending triangle.
Very nice.
Flat tops, rising support levels. This is more often than not a bullish formation where you go to the upside. Here's my problem. It is a good formation, and guess what? There's an absolute chance, potentially, that this ends up playing out. We have, did not draw that completely. I forgot you have to continue to click the thing the whole way. We have had some alternating touches here that have now put us up to our 5th wave. The problem is, wouldn't the catalyst that we just had yesterday, where we got to finally put the nail in the coffin, not that there was a lot of doubt left, but for anyone who thought maybe some outside perspective, Gary Gensler was going to be able to win this lawsuit and that the XRP coin would potentially be considered a security, we just lost that. And we did not have almost any type of move whatsoever. In fact, a 4% move. Completely from the time that news was announced up to the top. I think it might be 5%, but then it quickly came back down. We're talking about a 4% rise. To me, if we were going to break through and make a bullish push out, that was the catalyst that we needed. But that's not what happened, guys. In fact, we saw the price do almost nothing. And in the same timeline, we're looking at the 4-hour chart. I am not liking what I'm seeing here in volume. Yes, that volume was slightly higher than some of these other boring places, but when you look back on the history of XRP and what volume can come in, we get this great news and there's almost no volume whatsoever. To me, this communicates that there's nothing the bulls really have left in the tank for this time. There is going to be another move to the downside, and they're waiting for that to be the push. Now, do we just come back down to this blue line and then push up? Maybe we come back down around 51 cents or so, or is there a bigger drop to the downside and we make a push down towards levels we talked about before? I do think, we've said there's an outside chance 35 cents could be in the cards. I do think that this rising support level, this red line, is going to hold. So now I think the realistic expectation for where we're looking at is more than likely somewhere 45 cents to about 41 cents is going to be my region, T-Shroom, that I think would be a good place to be acquiring more XRP based off these charts. But while technically there's still hope to the upside, and like I said, we're kind of on the 4-hour chart, we're green candle as we are speaking right now. I'm just not seeing an overwhelming push from bulls. I'm not seeing a lot of room left for some pushes from the bulls. Let's even go down to the hourly chart, see if they've regained anything. Yeah, see, they came down, bounced at the mid-level despite the fact that the price didn't take that significant of a dip. And I just don't think that the bulls just don't have a lot of support right now to make a push to the upside. Would love to see them do it. And again, we'll update our information if tomorrow morning we wake up and XRP is sitting up here towards 56, 57 cents. That would be phenomenal and very bullish for XRP. But for now, being too emotional and getting overexcited and saying you're bullish on XRP because of the news, guys, that news is now about almost 24 hours old. And we have not done anything significant. I don't think we're going to. That's kind of where I'm sitting right now, T-Shroom, with XRP. Let's take a look at some other coins, though, and then we're going to get back into some stories and then enter some Q&A. Let's take a look at the biggest one of them all, also kind of making a push right now. Bitcoin up at 27,000. I do think we didn't quite touch. We did touch 27,800. I told you guys in the morning video this morning, I don't think we're going to be outdoing 28.6, but I did say a reasonable expectation would be maybe a resurgence back up towards 28,000. Sorry, let me pull this back up. You can see on the hourly chart, we did get rejected. Let's go to the 4-hour chart, see what it is kind of telling us right now. There's a lot more room left on the 4-hour chart. Have the MVP oscillator flashing by for us. That's nice. So yeah, lots more room on Bitcoin's chart to move a little more to the upside than what we're seeing on XRP. Let's also take a look. We took a look at Fibonacci levels, but in case you didn't get to watch our morning video, this is also one of the reasons why I'm kind of looking at those areas and saying that they could be very interesting. This morning, we had not been able to break through the 0.382, so I said watch out for around 27,630, but if we beat that price, if the bulls break above, I think a move up to 28,000, which would also be the 0.236 level, could be very, very significant, and we could see Bitcoin absolutely get back up to those levels. Now, I want to take a look at something more macro. Let's even see what we had from the top we had of 2023 all the way down to this most recent bottom. Take a look at that Fibonacci level as well, because I've told you guys before, yeah, this is kind of just what I'm suspecting. We only made it back up slightly above our 0.5 level. Let me move out to let's go to the 12-hour chart and see what we're looking at here. Do we even have a candle close? No, we didn't get a candle to even close on the 12-hour chart above that mid-level, that 50% line between our high and then the most recent low. Here's again, I've said this before, we're going to continue to say it more. When you're looking at Fibonacci, one of the things that you are watching for is how much of a rebound you can get in the market, right? So in this case, with this being the top, this being the bottom, if price had made a push back up to 29.2, maybe, and especially if it made a push back up above 30,000, getting up to 30,400, that to me would have communicated there would be a less likely chance that we end up going down and setting a new low. That to me, a golden pocket or a platinum pocket visit communicates that while the bears had a good push down here towards 24 22,900, that the bulls had regained at least temporary control. And while they might top out a little lower than that high, they were going to make a hard push to top out later on. Well, the fact that we got rejected, could not break it through that 0.5 level, that's kind of a mid-level. You're seeing a wrestling point, but it does not mean that the bulls are back in charge. And the fact that we rejected right there, I want to continue to watch how this plays out, but continues to back up my belief system that I don't believe that 25,000 was the bottom of this pullback for the fall. You guys also know we've talked about this before on Bitcoin. Again, another reason why I think the entire crypto space is not done moving to the downside. But with this most recent peak, no, it's not as high as our peak back here in April where we got up to 31,000, but that is a very good look. It would make a lot of sense to see price keel over right here, slowly but surely make its way back down and set up our right shoulder for our head and shoulders pattern. That, of course, that pattern would send us all the way down below 20,000 to lower $19,000 levels, around 19,300, give or take. You guys can see that line right here. That's the distance from the head down to the neckline. Break it over, 19,389 is what I'm seeing right there right now. So a lot of things on Bitcoin, guys, still saying we're moving to the downside. Shorter time frames looking like we could have some bullishness for the next couple of hours, but I'm not expecting any new highs. We'll update you if anything on that changes for sure. Let's take a look at some other coins here. Just briefly, just taking a quick glance at some of them. Let's go down to the 4-hour chart. Give us maybe a good look at the next 24 hours or so. Let's take a look. Oh, I still have my marker on. Rookie move. Sometime I'm going to learn how to not do that. Let's pull up our oscillators here. I'm liking on what I'm seeing on Ethereum's 4-hour chart, kind of similar to Bitcoin. I think there's going to be another push to the upside here after hitting this overextended, overbought flash. Look at this. We dip back down, 4-hour chart, MVP oscillator, flashing us some green signs. Price isn't moving upwards in the same rate that Bitcoin is, but you can see that it's definitely making a move for sure. Let's look at this right here. Yeah, right there, bouncing. We did go below it, but bouncing right there on that 4-hour dynamic reactor. Bullish sign for Ethereum over the next couple of hours. I do think we could at least see a move back up here towards our trend assistant, which would be a resistance right there on 1680 or so. So liking what I'm seeing there. By the way, shout out to Piper. I saw earlier Gia S said Piper now is a show at 9:30 a.m. for the news. And yeah, great lineup, guys. By the way, every single morning, and if you didn't know this, T-Shroom and I are putting out news updates. We're kind of giving you the quick, and I didn't want to say it, but it's the best way to say it. The quick and dirty, news take at 9 o'clock. Please don't use that sentence. Don't clip that and use it in bad ways. But we give you what you need in the morning at 9 a.m. But then you got to wait 20 minutes because we usually go from about 10-minute videos. So 9 to 9:10. Give yourself 20 minutes. Go, make some breakfast. Give it to your wife. That's good marriage advice right there. Husbands out there, go give your wife some breakfast. Maybe pour some coffee. Then come back. Tune in for the Piper Academy at 9:30. That's a good little morning routine right there. And then you're getting that lull in the middle of the afternoon. Maybe some of you have a lunch break. It's 3 o'clock right now. You're on lunch break over there in California. I'm speaking to you, Matt C. Maybe you're on the East Coast and you're like, I have 2 more hours and I have to go home. But you know what? I get to take a little break. I got to give my brain a break from this work life. Maybe you're in Europe and you're like, hey, it's about bedtime, but I need to check in on my bros and check in on what's happening in crypto. That's what we're here for. This
I like
live
that
show
European accent, Tim. That was a good attempt.
Did I try to do a European accent? I don't think I tried to do it at all.
Okay.
I could try to do a European accent. I don't know which dialect this really comes from, where in England or somewhere in there, but it could work.
It's kind of Irish. It's good.
It's from the islands up there somewhere, up in the abyss. Back to American though, because that's my main accent that I'm good at faking.
Right.
Yeah. So you get those updates. Let's see. Let's do one more. Let's do Cardano real quick, and then we're going to do some more news, and we'll do some more.
Now, Tim,
TA
before
later.
we do Cardano, we forgot to do the factoid of the day.
Well, let's do this. Okay, you're right, and that is completely my bad. So we're going to finish this. We're going to do the factoid. We're going to do the stories, and then today the factoid is going to come after the stories. All right, so last one. Let's look at Cardano real quick. I'm just going to lean into it now, guys. I already said it once, so what's the harm of saying it again? Let's look at the quick and dirty on Cardano, the TA here. Again, similar to Ethereum, I'm liking what I'm seeing. MVP oscillators flashing green, oscillators getting really low, bouncing right there, wicked perfectly here earlier this morning, right off that 4-hour dynamic reactor. So I'm liking the short-term action of Cardano, Ethereum, Bitcoin. Again, just one more reason why I'm not liking what I'm seeing on XRP because it's so different. Again, it's overextended, and it had every excuse in the world. Stop trying, Tim, please. Goodness gracious. Thank you, Mellofellow, for the. You're not even British, so I want Alex and Cryptex to judge my. They're gonna say I'm terrible. That's okay.
Not so mellow today. Very judgmental.
Not so mellow. I love you, Mellofellow. You know that. I just don't like this. Hitting that resistance level, doing very little pump off of a story that should have pumped the price of it so much more. Do not be surprised to see XRP dominance after a nice little run. Take a little bit of a spill over the next 24 hours or so because it is overextended. That's going to be the TA for today, the planned TA. Now, again, we'll have some Q&A, TNA. But first, we do got to get that Factoid Elf's question of the day. Then we'll jump into some more stories, have some quick discussion, and jump back into some good conversation with you guys. Go ahead and smash the like button and start typing some questions. We'll be engaging with you guys throughout the whole show. T-shirt, are we gonna call him the Brosif? Is that his name,
No,
or are we just calling him Factoid
Elf? It's the Factoid Elf. He's
this is a terrible name.
I disagree.
I'm saying if that's what his mother gave him as a name, that's a terrible name.
Mr. and Mrs. Factoid.
Well, why would his last name be his first? Okay. There would be Mr. and Mrs. Elf, and they named him Factoid.
I think the Chinese put that. All right. After getting his start at Qualcomm, Anatoly Yakovenko founded this crypto project. Was it A, Tran, B,
Tron,
Hold on. C, Tancoin, or D, Solana?
Solana.
What did Kramer called it? Solano? Stellano? Maybe he didn't say that one. I think he did. I want to say. What do you think it is, Tim? You think it's Tran?
It's not Tran. It's not Tron at all. It's not Solana either.
Okay.
So I'm between Quant and Toncoin.
Hmm.
And there's a part of me that wants to say, yeah, Eric Wallen just put it. I want to say Quant. I don't know if that's true, and I do feel strongly about narrowing it down to B and C, but I'm going to go with B. The fact that Eric Wallen thinks that as well gives me confidence that I'm going to rock with B today.
Okay.
T-Shroom.
B. All right. He's locking it in. We will circle back to the answer here in just a Florida minute. A New York minute is too fast. We'll take a Florida minute.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to start off with the SBF stories, but before we do, we're going to get into the ADP, guys, because we got to have our salad before we have our steak. Am I right, Tim? Private payrolls rose 89,000 in September, far below expectations, says the ADP. ADP, of course, a payroll company. They keep jobs data. They release jobs data. And let's get into some of the details here. The job openings and labor turnover survey results sent a jolt into financial markets, aggravating worries that the Fed will need to keep monetary policy restrictive to control inflation. So this print, generally bearish for markets, including crypto.
Yeah.
So that's not what we want to see, for sure. But that's what we got. So we'll continue to break that down through the rest of the week and continue to look at the markets as they kind of digest that new data. But we've had our salad, Tim. Let's have our steak. SBF lied. Can you believe it? He lied. DOJ tells the jury. Defense tries to pin FTX collapse on Caroline Ellison. Do you remember her, Tim?
Yes, I do. Of course I do.
Yeah.
Oh, right. This is going to be good. Yeah.
We're not going to get into crazy detail here, but I thought, this is the most highlighted I've had in a while, but I thought that the defense was pretty good. All right, so not good quality, but good entertaining. So Bankman-Fried's lawyers argued in their opening statement that the former founder of FTX and Alameda Research never meant to steal customers' money, Tim. That's not what he meant to do.
It was a complete accident. It fell into his wallet accidentally out of your wallet.
Yeah.
And then he accidentally spent it all.
Well, Tim, it's not even it's even worse than that. He was simply overwhelmed.
Oh,
dude. Can you not relate to him? When I get overwhelmed,
I have spent billions while overwhelmed myself.
There's got to be other people out there who feel this way. And believe it or not, it was SBF was feeling overwhelmed just like I do every once in a while. Let us know in the comments. Do you ever feel overwhelmed?
He is the everyday man.
But he was overwhelmed by the speed at which both his businesses grew. Man.
What a problem.
I feel like I
I don't wish
want that
that. I don't
problem.
wish that evil on anyone.
No.
That's
So
terrible.
here's a quotation from his lead lawyer, Mark Cohen. What a guy. He did not intend to steal from anyone. Uh, and he said that to his jurors on Wednesday. And he also said that Bankman-Fried acted in good faith and that he didn't defraud anyone. Now, I've got a lot of thoughts on that, but let's keep chugging here. We don't have infinite time. The FTX app, in terms of service, told customers the money they put on the exchange was being kept from them as if they were sitting right there. But in reality, Bankman-Fried diverted those funds to smaller and secretive company called Alameda Research and spent them on luxuries for himself. But Tim, I'll stop there. If you're overwhelmed, that's one way to kind of de-stress is to buy luxuries. It's like, don't get so caught up in where the money's coming from, Tim. That's not what it's about. It's about, can you de-stress from the overwhelm? But he spent it on himself, his friends, and his family. Well, friends and family is barely even spending it on him.
That's selfless. If
he's
you
just
ask
helping
me.
the community at this
point. What a guy.
So in addition, Bankman-Fried used the money to help political donations, make political donations
trying
that
to make
allowed
the world
him.
a better place. This guy.
Do you not believe in democracy?
Trial? Goodness gracious.
But he did that to curry favor with powerful people in Capitol Hill. Look, powerful people, they're hard to get their attention. You know, you see a powerful person on the street, you say, "Hey, man," and they just walk right past you. So a couple $1 billion, though, might get their attention. So again, I think SBF has every
what you're implying, T-Shroom, is that he just had he needed friends.
Yeah.
He didn't have any friends, and he knew that if he gave them money, they'd be his friends. Mm-hmm. So he was just really stressed out, overwhelmed by the tragedy that is two businesses booming too fast, too quickly, and he had no friends. I don't think he should go to prison.
No.
Sounds like just a guy down on his luck.
I think they need to make him like the director of a major nonprofit, because it sounds like he was just trying to help the community, help his friends and family, and then I think what happened is he helped them all. And so he had to go find more friends. And he was like, hey, there's people in Washington on Capitol Hill. Maybe they'll be my friend, and then I can help them and give them more money.
Because they probably didn't have any money is what he was thinking.
The folks on Capitol Hill? Well, they're up on top of a hill. It's like, why are you on a hill? Go get a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, or a friend who has money, and SBF was that friend.
It is good. How kind, when you really think about it, T-Shroom, and I'm actually kind of low-key being serious with this one. Okay. How kind of him to know that the space right now in crypto is so boring with no drama and no chaos is happening. So he said, you know what? I'll go to court and I'll get my defense to be one of the funniest defenses so that crypto is no longer boring and people have something to talk about.
What chances do you think that defense has of winning?
About zero. That's the kind of defense that it's like, hey, we on paper are defense attorneys and we have to say something in this guy's defense. Mm-hmm. Let's rock with this one. Effectively, the other thing that they're kind of getting a route of almost like, I think their appeal is they know he's going to go to prison for a long time, right? They know this, but they're trying to gather as much sympathy as possible. What's little left out there. To minimum 30 years old right now, right? He's like in his 20s, late 20s.
Yeah, that's about when people start helping others in their community. Yeah.
I don't know if that was okay. Either way, so he can get out of prison when he's like in his 50s or 60s, maybe is the plan. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. So I'll tell you what, I do think, and I want to hear your thought in a second. I do think that he should go to prison, but I'm still on team. This whole thing is bigger than SBF, and as the story continues to unfold and we get more details, because even after he goes to prison, guys, the FTX story is not going to be told. There's going to be a massive movie with a lot of different people coming out of the woodwork telling their side of the story. I still think he's a little bit of a puppet in the whole thing. I don't actually think he's as intelligent as everyone gave him credit for, but I also think he knew what he was doing. And he very much said, okay, I'll become the front man, thinking they were going to get away with it. And it was going to be a great publicity stunt for him. And he was going to be the face of this thing while the real puppet masters never got to their face is shown,
Mm-hmm.
and it all blew up in his face, and now he gets to take the blame as the scapegoat.
Mm-hmm.
What do
Yeah.
you think?
Well, I think so I was spending a lot of time this week with some folks, and one of them made a good point. Is like, the rich and the powerful, and folks with connections, they don't often get long sentences. They don't get punished. That's kind of been the trend of America over, maybe the last 50, 60 years, is that if you are in a certain circle or circles, right, there's less of a chance that the law is going to apply to you than in the same way that it may apply to me, right? Or just an everyman crypto analyst, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that is probably the argument that would give SBF and his team, a little bit of encouragement. But I mean, from the outside, all the facts obviously line up in a certain way. But they did for OJ as well, right? They did
Yeah.
for Elizabeth Holmes, and they did for a lot of other people who maybe they didn't get completely away with it, right? But the penalty seemed not to meet the crime. Right. So we'll see. We'll see. I think ultimately he is going to serve some time, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near what people would expect. Let us know in the
Yeah,
chat.
right.
How many years? Just give us a number. How many years should this individual, who was really just trying to help his community, how many
Just
years should he
stand-up guy.
be in prison? All right, we've got more stories here, but we've also got a decent amount of time here. So let's keep chugging on. Polygon co-founder Jay Niti Nanani.
Kanani. So
He's stepping
either way,
down.
it's a fun one. Yeah.
And either way, he's stepping down.
Yeah.
But he founded Polygon in 2017 alongside his other partners, his other founders. And this is the reason that he gave. According to CoinDesk, he's taking the time to focus on new adventures while still cheering and contributing to Polygon from the sidelines. So this is kind of a nothing burger, but also at the not in the sense that there was some kind of clickbait or something. It's not like there was some kind of outcome here. I mean, this could have been very bearish for Polygon if there had been some reason why Janty was leaving, but it looked like he's just doing what we've seen a lot of other founders do of not just crypto projects but companies. Is just they build it. It reaches a certain level of growth and they feel comfortable stepping down and kind of handing over the reins to go do what is next for them. So I think Gavin Wood did this. Gavin Wood and some other folks have done this. Absolutely. I mean, the biggest one is going to be Jeff Bezos, right? He stepped down from the CEO position.
Gavin Wood, I think, is a little bit. You're talking about Gavin Wood from Dot. There are some. I'm not even going to get into it. There are some things that I don't think Gavin Wood stepped down voluntarily as much as he needed to, so they would continue to move forward and not out some stories there. And here's the thing: this split. There are times, like you said, Jeff Bezos stepped away. He built a pretty large empire before he stepped away, though. Then there's things like obviously Charles Hoskinson is a co-founder of Ethereum, but stepped away to start working on Cardano. So he didn't stay Team Ethereum. He's actually stepped away because he was like, I disagree with some of the things that are being built here. I think I can build it better. And I think there's other people that have stepped away. You never know. I mean, you don't know what's going on in these people's personal lives, family related, mental health related, different interests. Maybe he is like saying like, hey, I'm kind of tired of blockchain. I've made a lot of money. I really want to travel. But you do always have to keep in the back of your mind, there are absolutely reasons why people step away, and it never gets talked about, and they didn't really get a choice. And it was kind of like, hey, do this gracefully or we'll make it ugly. And so they choose the graceful route. Not saying that's what we know, because I don't know anything about this guy. I hadn't even heard his name before.
Sure.
But let's continue to watch. I think it also will say a lot what happens to the price. So for example, Gavin Wood stepped down. Dot's price and activity all dropped very quickly when Gavin Wood stepped down.
Really?
Part of the thing that said, hey, this is not actually a good situation going on here. There's been some faith lost. I'm interested to see what Matic does in response to this. Because again, the other thing is about this is a founder of the company, T-Shroom. Like, he is a leader. People looked at him to answer problems. He didn't just probably found the company and just sit back and do nothing all day and collect a paycheck. He was integrally involved. So even if he is leaving for personal reasons that are positive, it still could have an impact on development and leadership structure and who's going to take his place. Have they groomed the right replacement for him to take his spot to answer and solve some things quickly? I'm hoping the best for him and for Matic. I still am bullish on Matic long term, but I'm very interested to see what we see come out in the next couple of weeks. If nothing, then I think it's positive that he just was personal decision. But if we start to see partnerships lost or we see development slow down or anything else, definitely want to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you see this 7% pop in AVAX today? Yeah, it's doing pretty crazy.
AVAX?
Yeah.
Again,
AVAX
there's a couple
well.
link up. We'll take a look here at some other ones here in a second. Do we have any more stories, or do we want to?
We do have more stories. Yeah, one more.
Yeah, let's finish the link. So link. What am I on the 4-hour chart? Because I went on to Litecoin. My bad, guys. That's very
unbelievable.
Wrong. Good little pump. If I was on the daily chart, good little pump for the daily chart here on Link. We'll take a look at that. Overextended on the daily chart, again, hitting that resistance level as well. But yeah, let's cover the stories. We'll get back into TA here in just a second, T-Shroom. Yeah. Got lots of time to do more TA. And again, I know earlier, another coin I have to look at is World Mobile. Ada Ace definitely has been asking to do some World Mobile TA. So we'll do some of that and others that people request. But let's wrap up the stories.
Yeesh. All right. Last story here, guys, is going to be brought to you by Decrypt Tax. Guys, if you are someone who lives in the United States, okay, and you are investing or trading crypto, check out decrypted.tax. If you click on the link in our description, it's going to take you right to the place you need to be, which is decrypt.tax. And it's going to help you get to where you need to be. And there's all kinds of solutions that Ernest can provide. We know him. We love him. He's a great guy. And Tim, do you have anything to say about decrypt.tax?
I was going to say, I think that 90% of you are not where you need to be. So if you want to get where you need to be, you're going to need decrypted.tax.
That's right. You're going to need it for the next big move.
Put a one in chat if you're not where you want to be.
Yeah.
And then we'll know how many people need to go get decrypted. But honestly, we had a conversation with this guy. He is phenomenal. If you are looking for a solution to crypto taxes are a pain in the butt. I know many of you do your own, which is phenomenal. I actually, if you have the time and the ability to do your own taxes, do it. It's awesome. Save yourself some money. But if you are like me and there are lots of transactions you have to deal with and it is a headache and you want to give a trusted person who knows what they're doing, just click on it. There's also a free consultation. So even if you're not sure, just contact him. It's a way to support the channel and support yourself. Contact him. Just see what he's about. I know you'll be impressed with him because I know I was, and see if he's the right guy for you to do your taxes.
Absolutely. Saw a couple of comments here about the SBF stuff. Thought it might be worth engaging in before we get to our last story. We're not building up the last story because it's super important. It's just the last story. Let's see. 69 years, said French Toaster. And then Brian D said, honestly, my anger is equally divided between SBF and Gensler for allowing it to be unregulated.
Gensler will never serve prison time, but in reality, if truth actually prevailed, I guarantee you there's some stuff happening with Gary Gensler that in a world of actual real truth and justice would probably see him spend some time in prison. But if we're going to get down that rabbit trail, I don't think there's many people in Washington that wouldn't serve at least a day or two for some infractions.
Yeah.
North of Richmond, you know?
Yeah. Or poor men south of Portland. Have you heard this one yet?
I have not heard. Is that a song? A new song?
A new one. I haven't listened to it, but I have it in my save to watch later queue on YouTube.
That's something we should do for bro time.
Yeah. I have no idea what the contents is. I would have just played it, but he could be talking about all kinds of naughty stuff.
It's going to be fun for sure.
So we don't want to go down that road.
No. Yeah, we learned from good old Frankie Candles. You don't play videos on a live stream that you've never watched before.
Yes.
It was a valuable lesson that we didn't have to learn ourselves. We learned from Frankie.
Yeah. Matt C said, I'd like 70 years for Sam with parole in 45.
Interesting.
Okay. Remington Peralt said he lost $100 in ADA to to SBF, so he should serve a life sentence. So that's pretty steep. That is pretty
It's
steep.
not. That's not quite a felony. I think it's a felony when you. I think it's like somewhere around $700. If you steal $700 from somebody, I think that's when it could be deemed a felony.
But not in California. If you're stealing,
I don't know the rules.
$700.
I don't know the laws of California.
Well, because
To
stealing is actually
be fair,
not
I
against
don't
the
think
laws.
that politicians know the laws in California. So don't even know if there are laws in California, to be honest with you. But that's a different conversation. Yeah, and we're going to get an article in about 3 to 6 months to say they'll be approved in about 3 to 6 months. This is starting to sound a little bit, T-Shroom, like the XRP trial. I don't think it's going to be the same way. But how many years did we say, yeah, this case is going to be over in 3 to 6 months? Mm-hmm. I think this article is right, but it's not new. Like, this article came out like it's breaking news. We said like 2 months ago that it's going to be 3 to 6 months. That the timeline stays consistent, guys. Best case scenario, we're looking at like December. Worst case scenario, we're looking probably somewhere around March or April. Mm-hmm. I think the realistic expectation is late January, early February would be my best guess. If you said, Tim, make a prediction on when we're getting approval, late January, February is my guess. Mm-hmm. Just kind of somewhere in the middle. Piper says, Tim, you sound like you hate California. I don't hate California. Californians hate California. I'm just reporting the news. That's all I do. So,
yeah, I don't hate any state.
No,
that's a silly thing to do, to hate a state. I think that the people running California, right, and the voters California are suffering some negative outcomes, and they're going to continue to suffer negative outcomes the more that they vote the way that they have over the last decade. That definitely seems to be pretty truthful. All right, let's get to the answer of the factoid here. But I guess my last detail on the BlackRock ETF story is that there's been a break in the trend with these ETFs where they delay. The SEC will just delay the ETF. The break in that trend, I was reading about it, is that they have actually reached out to a lot of the applicants, whether it be BlackRock or Valkyrie or whoever it is, submitting and kind of giving them some expectations, some notes. Hey, you spelled this wrong. I don't know what the notes are. But that's a break in the trend, right? And those were official meetings, scheduled through the official channels of the SEC. And so that is encouraging, right? That's bullish. And so you kind of sprinkle in all of these headlines from people who are either kind of in the orbit of BlackRock or, they work for BlackRock, whatever it is, then they've kind of come out with like these ranges of times that the ETFs will be approved. Rather than coming out and saying, yeah, they're probably not going to approve it. So very bullish, very bullish. And again, as Tim and I have talked about at length, just because the ETF goes live doesn't mean that the price is going to go up in the first week or even the first month, right? That's still up for debate. Doesn't mean it isn't. I still think that there's a chance that it could skyrocket on the day that the ETF goes live or that the ETF is approved, right? There's definitely two events there. I think there is a chance that it could make a big move to the upside, but it just depends on how we got there and what the rest of the media landscape looks like. Yeah. What the rest of the macro space looks like. Are we still paused? Are we cutting? Are we raising rates? So there's a lot to consider.
The only thing about ETFs that's going to make price go up and down is when the ETF itself either buys more Bitcoin due to higher demand or sells more Bitcoin due to lower demand. The price, like if they just owned 1 million Bitcoin and people are going on the ETF and buying and selling, but it stayed consistent, the price would not move one bit from that spot ETF. Because when I buy from BlackRock, I'm not changing the price of Bitcoin. I'm just saying, oh, you own some Bitcoin. It's almost like an over-the-counter trade where it doesn't affect the price whatsoever. It'll affect the price when there's so many people rushing in and then demand goes up, so the price goes up. Just in other places. And then what happens is BlackRock says, all right, we got so many people wanting Bitcoin. We can't sell any more of it. We have to go buy some more to then allow them to be able to purchase it. So it's going to be bullish long-term, everybody. Don't get any of us wrong. ETFs are bullish because they bring attention, they bring adoption, they bring demand into the space, which makes price go up. It just doesn't happen overnight the way everyone wants it to. And unfortunately, that's the way millions of people think. And so what you do is you trade responsibly and you take the money from them. Piper just said a second ago, he hates people that live in the state of ignorance. And there's a lot of people that live there. And Piper's 100% right. And you know what you do is they're going to be ignorant and irresponsible with their money. So we're going to take that money from them. And then they're going to come watch the Investing Bros, and we're going to teach them so that they can go get that money back. That's what's going to happen, everybody. We don't hate them like Piper does. Piper says he hates them. I'm just kidding. We love them, but we will take their money is what's going to happen.
Now, Brian D. has said that the twins want to know what is sitting on T-Shroom's head. Now, I'm assuming the twins are young children. And, of course, this little factoid elf here sitting on top of my box is quite a attention grabber. This is the factoid elf. This is the elf right here that comes with our factoids. Which, speaking of, thank you for the natural transition there, Brian D. Let's get to the answer of the factoid from today. So again, the question: after getting his start at Qualcomm, Anatoly Yakovenko founded this crypto project. Was it Tron, Quant, Toncoin, or Solana? The answer is Solana.
It was Solana.
It was Solana. So you got it wrong, Tim.
I did. I got this one wrong. It wasn't even my second option. So,
Yeah, you actually said it's not Solana, which I think threw a lot of the chat off. Matt C saying Solana. So assuming the honor system, which I would for Matt C, it looks like he got that one right.
Although he is from California, so
Ooh, don't go there, Tim. Anatoly Yakovenko is the most important person behind Solana. His professional career started at Qualcomm, where he quickly moved up the ranks and became senior staff engineer manager in 2015. Later on, his professional path shifted, Tim, and Yakovenko entered a new position as a software engineer at Dropbox. In 2017, Yakovenko started working on a project which would later materialize as Solana. He teamed up with his Qualcomm colleagues Greg Fitzgerald, and they founded a project called Solana Labs, attracting even several more former Qualcomm colleagues in the process. The Solana protocol and SOL token were released to the public in 2020. So there you go, Tim. A little bit of lore for the Solana fans, or if you're like Tim, the Solana curious, which is a new category emerging in the crypto space. Tim,
very interesting.
You ready to dive back into the charts? Take a look at some coins.
Yeah, we're about to jump in to do some Q&A. Matt C says Tim Warren, Qualcomm, based in San Diego, California. Okay.
But is it though? I feel like if San Diego had the choice, they would be not in California. Yeah. Maybe they would. I don't know. Maybe they would. That's just the way that T-Shroom feels. But I've never been there, so I probably shouldn't have said that.
Well, go ahead, guys. Go ahead and start pumping some questions. They can be TA questions. They can be story questions. They can be about the market overall. They can be about mine and T-Shroom's personal life. We'll probably not prioritize those ones as the highest, but you can ask them. And if there's no other questions out there, we'll answer them. Let's do some Chainlink TA here real quick because I kind of gave some quick TA on it. But again, guys, what we're looking at here with Chainlink, one of my concerns is we did have a slight breakthrough of the trend, but we still are looking at Chainlink as a falling level of resistance that we could not hold. Even though we poked through on the daily chart and closed above that line, we closed the next day back below it. So you don't get to win this one, Chainlink. It looks like moving back to the downside. But here's a factoid we talked about in one of our bro times from none other than Army Piper, who just put his YouTube channel in chat, by the way, as well, guys. That 9:30 live show, Piper Academy. Make sure you go and look at it. Guys, look at this little ditty that old Piper found. I gotta coordinate this perfectly. So we're on a week daily chart here. Am I on the daily chart down here? Oh, we are. All right. So we're kind of correlated here a little bit. Look at every single time that Chainlink broke above $8. Let's go ahead and mark some of these guys. So we broke $8 right here. So we're going to go ahead and just put a little circle around that timeline. We broke $8 right here. We're going to put a little circle around this timeline. We broke $8 right here. Barely. We kind of got a little bit above, but we broke it. All right. We broke it. Keep an eye on that one. That's a special one for sure. We broke $8 right here. 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 And then more recently here, just a couple of days ago, we broke $8 back here. Now, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times that we have broken $8. Okay? Let's correspond what Bitcoin was doing at the times of these breakings. Not the right way to put that, but we're going to roll with it. Right here, June of 2022, we break $8 on Chainlink. Bitcoin does what? It crashes. Well, that's sad. All right, well, let's move forward here. August 2022, we break $8 again, and Bitcoin crashes again. And then we come over here. There we go, guys. We do have an outlier. So now 2 out of 3 have crashed, but here's one time Chainlink broke $8. And Bitcoin's price didn't really do much. It actually moved a little bit to the upside. So we're 2 out of 3, but let's move forward into November. Once again, we break $8, Bitcoin crashes. We move forward over here to February. We break $8, Bitcoin crashes. April, we break $8, Bitcoin crashes. Over here, and now we have July. We broke $8 and Bitcoin crashes. Now that one had a little bit of a delay. We didn't do it very quickly. That Bitcoin crash took a little bit of time. But the fact stands that we just did it again, and we can't say Bitcoin crashes again just yet because we have to wait to see if it happens. But of these 7 times that it has happened since June of 2022, 6 of those times Bitcoin price crashed. Now, is there a direct correlation here? Is there a magic 8-ball out there or something that says, oh, we just got the signal, Chainlink's at $8, go crash Bitcoin? No, that's not necessarily how it works, but it is a convenient relationship. We've seen that as we get some more bullish narrative coming into Chainlink, we see Bitcoin move in an inverted way that makes it crash to the downside. And so the fact that we did just do it once again is another reason to be a little skeptical, guys. Just be a little skeptical about what Bitcoin price could do. Is it possible that Bitcoin price doesn't crash? Yes, it's absolutely possible. But it is a little bit of a track record, something that you should be aware of. And I thought when Piper pointed that out to me, I was very surprised and almost like, what in the world? I wonder why that is. But it is. It is what it is. And that's what's happening here. But as we look at some oscillators here, daily chart, you guys will see we at first ignored the overbought signals, but after moving sideways, we are moving back to the downside here. We're getting back down towards the mid-level on the RSI. Let's take a look at our other oscillators. There's a lot of different oscillators that you get kind of packed in here. Not getting anything buy signals from the MVP oscillator, even though those are flowing. It does look like our money flow is starting to curve over to the bottom. We haven't looked at money flow in a while, guys. I'm going to start looking at money flow way more often. Let's take a smaller time frame look. Chainlink on the 4-hour, we're getting a little bit of resurgence. You guys can see we bottomed out. MVP oscillator flashing green. Our money flow is curving to the upside. We got the oversold. So this is a good sign on the 4-hour chart, but daily chart, guys, not looking to be the same form of bullishness that we're seeing on the 4-hour chart. What this tells me is, again, maybe bullish next 24 hours, but I'm not expecting price to get back up here to 824 like we were a couple of days ago. I do expect price to probably make a pull back up somewhere in the range. Let's look at Fibonacci levels. I'm just going to throw out the one that I think kind of looks, come on now, Fibonacci, work with me here. Didn't get that bottom perfect right there. Boom. I would not be surprised, guys, to see, we're hovering right now, after topping at the 0.5, 0.76. Wouldn't be surprised if we do get into that golden pocket area, kind of. But I don't know, 0.5. We might have rejected the 0.5. 4-hour chart saying that it wants to go a little higher makes me think, look out for potentially that golden pocket. Now, remember, if we hit the golden pocket and don't make a big splash, or even if we bounce back up to the platinum pocket, there's a chance that we're just hovering right here below the resistance level and going to make a push. And again, we've seen Chainlink move invertedly to Bitcoin before. So with Bitcoin, we're looking like price to the downside. Maybe we see a little bit. Maybe we finally see the breakthrough of this trending resistance level, downtrending resistance level, finally break and a move to the upside with Chainlink. Of course, it's had some big partnerships more recently with some banks. Not that it's going to be a direct competitor whatsoever, guys. They do different things, but Chainlink may be stealing some of that bank attention right now from XRP. Maybe another reason why XRP is struggling to break back above the 55 cents. But that's what we're looking at on Chainlink, guys. This is one you absolutely, whether you buy some now, whether you wait, I think there's still a decent chance we see maybe a fall back down. I don't know. It moves so volatile. And I don't like this bottom that we had here. It's low volume bottom though. That's the part I do like. I think Chainlink's one that you should probably just use a healthy DCA strategy. Asking, I think we could get it. If Bitcoin could fall 20%, so Chainlink absolutely could fall another 20%. But maybe start adopting a decent little healthy DCA strategy, but maybe have a small bag. If you see a 568 Chainlink again, jump on it. Chainlink is going to have a very good bull market. I do think this is one of the coins long term that does hit a new all-time high. Let's just even say we match a former all-time high on Chainlink. I need to start doing this kind of stuff more often because we're getting close, guys, to one of the last good buy spots of this bear market. But let's just say we get a price back down to 568, 69, and then we just double top all-time high. That alone would be an 8.5x. Guys, I think more realistically, looking at a 10 to maybe even higher X is something that I would absolutely be keeping my eyes on, looking at prices somewhere closer up here towards 60. And who knows, this could be one of the ones at 20Xs, especially with its kind of favorability from banks. Could we see it maybe get up over $100 and be a 20X? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. But I am bullish on Chainlink, and anytime I can gather some more at lower levels, I definitely want to take advantage of that. Let's do this. Let's check in with chat here, T-Shroom. What else do we have? Questions, some Q&A, or some T&A? What are you seeing?
I've got an update here. I almost tweeted about it this morning, but I like set up a whole tweet, and I guess I didn't hit send, which sucks. But look at this. Look at this update here. I was reading about this morning. I didn't think that this would pick up momentum, but Justin, President Donald Trump is open to serving as House Speaker. This is from the Twitter account Remarks, X account Remarks.
Yeah.
And Texas Republican Troy Nails to nominate Donald Trump for House Speaker. So apparently, I was reading a Reuters article about this morning. Apparently, the Speaker of the House doesn't have to be an elected official, meaning they don't have to be, they can be anybody. Okay. I don't know if there's even nationality limitations, but obviously, Congress is the one who elects them, or nominates and then elects them. So that would be pretty wild, Tim. Donald Trump is Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
Well, I would say never.
I won't never say never, but there's a lot. I mean, the amount of votes that he would have to get from people that don't like him. Let's not pretend that Congress right now is filled with a bunch of Trump supporters, even the Republican side. That's not the case.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about if that's true or not. I assume you're right in that. But
this I'll say, and I know we had a kind of a discussion about Trump on Saturday, which was an interesting one. I don't hate Trump or think like that he's the worst president ever. He's just a person. I don't think he maybe is the greatest person of mankind. Let's just put it that way.
Sure.
But it doesn't matter. I think the people of the United States are much more in love with Donald Trump than the people in Washington. And to be fair, I actually put that as a +1 in his category, because I think one of the problems is I do think he's so anti-establishment and anti how politicians operate that he threatens even the Republican politicians. There's a factoid, factoid is the wrong one. There's a faction. That's the right word I'm looking for. There's a faction of people within Congress and Senate that are Trump supporters. I'm not saying there's zero. There's just not enough to get him to be voted in as Speaker of the House. I am a fan, though. Let's talk about the legitimate candidates, though. I would love either Patrick McHenry or Tom Emmer to be the new speakers of the House. Of course, Patrick McHenry is acting as the Speaker of the House and made a move that I think resonated with a lot of Republicans. And I didn't even know this. I didn't know this. This makes you continue to ask questions about McCarthy, right? So we're still talking about crypto here, guys. Remember, McCarthy is one of the people that did receive money from SBF. So let's start there, right?
Sure.
McCarthy's Speaker of the House and never took the private office. Oh my gosh. McCarthy never took the private office from Nancy Pelosi. So the first act that Patrick Henry did was say, hey, Nancy, you haven't had this job for a long time now. It's time for you to get out of the private office.
Look at the Rolling Stones headline. That was a good take, Tim. But Rolling Stones headline, right-wingers push for alleged felon to become the new House Speaker.
Right.
Oh, alleged felon. It couldn't be. Oh, it's Trump. Oh. Good old Rolling Stone showing their colors. I think their colors have been known for a while, but
they put alleged in there. That's the new safe word to stop from defamation.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Alleged.
Yeah. Well, that is going to be one of the bigger stories, because if Emmer or McHenry could potentially become the new speaker,
Yeah.
then they have a lot more. I wouldn't say a lot more because Emmer is already the majority whip. So, but they would get, incremental more power to be able to oust Gary Gensler.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. We got to close the show. It's 4:00. That 4:00 snuck up on us.
Did it?
Just so you guys know, the new time for Around the Blockchain, make sure you go check it out right now. They're starting at 4:00. French Toaster, I would say, I'll vote for you. I don't get a vote, but I'll vote for you to be Speaker of the House. So put that application in. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for you guys today. But thank you so much to every single one of you that came out. Smaller group today, but it's still fun. It's always fun. But you guys make sure, go scream it from the mountaintops. The Investing Bros are live at 3:00 every day. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your cashier at the grocery store, and help us get back up. When we get, here's what I'm going to do, because we've been kind of hectic, crazy. When we get back to 100 concurrent for a live show, I'm going to gift 5 memberships to our silver memberships. Make sure you guys are a part of, not only if you want to join to help support the channel, join our membership group. You get some cool access and some conversations with me and T-Shroom. But even if you don't have $1 to spare now and you just want to be a part of the Bros community, make sure you're in our free Discord. There's a lot of great conversations that are happening over there. You don't want to miss them. But Tim, with that said, I was
just going to say, how much is the free Discord, though?
It costs $0 and 0 cents.
$0, good. I could put it on my credit card.
Yes. Just like America. Guys, that's all we have for you guys today. Tomorrow, we ran a little over, so tomorrow I will have a thought of the day as we wrap it out. But you guys have a fantastic afternoon. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. with our morning news update, and tomorrow morning, 3 p.m. with our another live show. With that said, though, guys, we'll see you tomorrow.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, catch a word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.